Alright, story time about me being like 5 or 6 in the early 2000s, 1999, when I saw the Easter Bunny. And yes, it is kind of a scary story. Okay, so, and it really happened. So let's get into it. So we go to the store. I'm 5 or 6, and this corner store is literally a round from my house down the street. My mom goes in, buys her cigarettes, her coffee, and I am outside the store in the car just looking at the window, seeing that they have toys in there. And they used to have toys, like some really cool stuff in there when I was a kid. You could literally buy anything at the gas station back then. So I see this beautiful, long, like big lizard that was purple on the top, I believe, and pink on the bottom, and it was filled with Beanie Babies, because at the time, Beanie Babies were still a big thing. And it had this beautiful, like, metallic sparkle flakes all over it. And I said, oh, I want that for Easter. I want that toy so bad. I said that out loud. But I don't know why I did. I just did. And I said, I really want it. I really want it. Growing up, to clarify, let me just give you some backstory real quick. We had absolutely nothing when I was a kid. Literally, there were days I would have to survive on pickle juice, okay? We were real poor. And my mom worked a lot, like a lot. To the point where she needed to blow off steam too, which I get it. So I was at the babysitter's a lot, and she would go party for like weekends on end, every weekend, like all weekend, or sometimes weeks. Anyways, which I get it, but also my dad gave up on me. He went to go get milk and never came back, and that guy's an asshole anyways, so I don't care. He might have gave me the good looks I have, but he's a con artist, and yeah, he's a piece of shit. So who cares, right? He gave me this, and that is all I am grateful for. Let's move on. So yeah, my dad did not help us at all financially, never really sent me birthday cards, nothing, didn't give a shit about me. So my mom had to work a lot to do what we could, but again, there were days where we were starving still. So yeah, it sucked. Anyways, so I knew my mom couldn't afford to get me new toys all the time, things like that. But I really wanted that toy. So I said out loud, didn't know that a miracle was about to happen, right? And yes, the windows were up. My mom was inside. There's no way she could have heard me. We go home. We go to bed. Boom, it's Easter the next morning. I'm just like trying to be grateful for whatever I get, because I know it's not going to be really anything. Back then, a lot of time, my grandparents and my aunt and uncle would get me the, PlayStation 2. I got that 2 times, which was expensive back then, and a nice AirPod, the like Apple AirPod Touch thing back then. Those things were expensive. So, Anyways, so I walk in the kitchen or the living room. My mom's standing there. She's like, Happy Easter, here's your Easter basket. And I was like, oh my god, Mom, thank you. I get closer. I look, I see there, like, it's pretty tall, with the long, like, big woven basket, the long handle, and I see all the, like, grass. It's, pretty. I see a couple of, chocolate bars in there. But what stood out to me, I see this purple and pink toy. And I was like, that can't be right. And it's the lizard I wanted. I'm like, even if my mom guessed, how did she afford that? Because, again, there's no way there was a couple times my grandmother had to buy a lot of the Easter stuff. So, I don't remember. All I remember is we definitely didn't have an Easter egg hunt that year at all. There was no way we could afford it. So in that Easter basket, that lizard was there, and it just shocked me. I was like, so I asked my mom, and she's in bed. By the way, she's walking back to bed, gets into bed, as I'm taking all the stuff out of the basket, and I brought the lizard with me into her room, and I said, Mom, how did you get this? And then she's like, I don't know. She's like, I don't remember putting that in the basket. And she said, I definitely didn't buy it. And then that's all she said. So I don't know. Even later on, okay, because I've asked my grandmother and she's asked her, my grandmother said no. I never stopped by that morning. I never stopped by that other day. She's like, because she sets all of her Easter stuff up for me at her house, especially dinner. We have Easter dinner there, the whole family. So, nobody has ever admitted to buying me it. My mom's never admitted it. She could never afford it. My grandmother doesn't even go to that store. So, anyways, nobody bought it. It just appeared in the basket. So I go outside. I'm playing. It's still, I think, cold out. I know it was spring, but it was like muddy. And I think there might have been a little bit of snow on the ground. So there's like a little bit of mud. There's snow. So I'm outside. I'm playing with the lizard. Super happy, by the way, apparently, because I was like jumping in mud puddles and stuff. So next thing I know, I'm looking down at the ground, just messing around. I see these huge footprints, what look like a rabbit's foot, but think like a person, though, like a mascot, right? And there's several leading out to like the woods. Why my 6-year-old brain decided to follow it, I don't know, but I did. So there, me, myself, and I, and my little pet lizard, we went to the woods. Yeah, I went into the woods. So I'm following the prints, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden the footprints, like, stop. Like, they start to, just stop completely in the middle of the woods. So I'm out there, it's quiet. I hear a stick break. And I look over, and I see somebody hiding behind it was a big tree. It's like a big pine tree, okay? It's in the woods. So this thing it had this white, matted, muddy caked fur suit thing on. And I turn over, and all it said was, do you like the lizard? And all I said was, and I was scared, but I said, thank you. And then I started to back away because I felt like something was off. But I said thank you because I felt bad, because I thought I don't want to be disrespectful to the Easter Bunny. And so he started coming closer to me, and he had some eggs in his hand. He said, do you want to have an Easter egg hunt in the woods with me? And I said, I can't. My mom and I are going to my grandparents' house. And he said, well, it won't take long. Just come with me. It'll be fine. And I said, no, I really gotta go. And all of a sudden, I could hear my mom screaming at the top of her lungs, Cat, where are you? Get back here. And I said, thanks, Mr. Easter Bunny, I gotta go. And I started running. I started backing away slowly, like I said, and then I finally turned away and was like, bye. And I ran out of there. And no, I've never seen this guy, this rabbit, whatever. I don't even know how to describe it. I might have to make part 2, which sucks. I know.